Kieran, bro, thanks for inviting us to your house.
No worries.
To have a yarn. Crazy year it's been since the World Cup, but let's start with what you've been up to recently. How special was it to end your rugby career in New Zealand at counties?
Very special, mate. It was, I guess for me it was a lifetime dream to play for counties, and look, I spent many hours on the bank at Pukekohe and man, supporting them, and I guess to give back a little bit to the community that I feel gave me a lot when I was growing up.
And you grew up on, what was your street?
Kavana Place.
Kavana Place.
Right next to Papakura Golf Course.
Yeah.
So,
And was that your kind of first sporting backyard?
Yeah, it was. Our cul-de-sac was, I guess.
Yeah.
All the kids around the neighbourhood would congregate to the cul-de-sac and, play roller hockey or, touch or whatever it was,
Because you were pretty handy at cricket. Is that where you also honed your cricket skills? Because you played Northern Districts, eh?
Age group teams. I did. I probably played a lot more cricket than rugby. Definitely growing up. My dad would boulder me at our driveway, and I had an older brother as well, so he was handy with the ball, so kind of, really forced me to get my eye in pretty quick.
Hey, do you reckon there's a connection with athletes who succeed at a certain level? Do you reckon there's a common denominator in that they all have an older brother that is integral to their development as a youngster? What's your take on that theory?
I think it does help. I think it might not be the what happens all the time, but certainly for me, having an older brother to push me to try and always chase him, for so many years he was stronger, faster, so I was always pushing myself, and then one day, I got faster than him, or got better at one sport, and then, I'm probably never stronger than him, but you always try to push yourself. So
was that a huge moment in your young life? Do you remember that?
Oh, huge, yeah. Because normally I'd end up running to mum after he beat me up when he caught me. But once I got fast enough, I knew I could niggle him and then get away, so that was a big moment.
I remember you told me a hilarious story once about when you were making counties age group teams. It was basically you and the boys from Wesley. Is that true? And they do their calls in Tongan? Yeah,
basically.
How would you cope with that?
Look, I think for me, I was just excited to be playing the game, playing representative rugby at an age group level, and it was I was probably the only white face in the team of all the boys, the brothers from Wesley.
You had the afro, though.
I did have the afro. And it's actually some mates who I kept progressing with, actually, in that team. And they were all good men. But certainly, it was quite funny. I think they revert when they're on the field to the calls that they know. So it was had to learn Tongan and Samoan pretty quickly.
So it's been a year just about since the Rugby World Cup. It's been a crazy old year for the world, of course. But have you had a chance to sit back and reflect at all, or is that just not part of you?
I think I probably have, but it hasn't. It's basically, in some ways, you kind of deal with it at the time, and as you get through, it's been great for me to actually come back here. Once kind of all this thing happened, I got back out of Japan and came home and literally had about 6 months without any footy on my mind, which was pretty fantastic to have. And we've got a great spot here for the kids, and you think of my daughter's nearly 10, and basically you haven't had a chunk of time of your life to be with them. So that was pretty awesome to do. Really appreciated that.
But it's ironic because one of the things you wanted to do, when you retired from international footy, was to spend more time with the family. And here you are heading off to Japan next week, unfortunately on your own, to rejoin your club, Toyota. That's a bit stink.
It's very stink. It's kind of, as you said, the reason I signed there was to spend more time with the family, and definitely know it's going to be hard leaving the family. But hopefully it will go very quickly.
Are you going to jump into the culture over there, learn the language?
Oh, mate, I was only there a few months at the start of the year, and it was a struggle. So I did pick up a few things, how to order something at the restaurant and different stuff.
They reckon the key is to just ban yourself from speaking English. For 3 months, just total...
Man, I'm living by myself, so it's probably not hard.
And your approach in playing for Toyota is going to be the same for as it's been your whole career?
Yeah, look, it's
Get in there
and
add what you can.
Add what I can, It's it's twofold, you know, when I'm at this stage of my career is to get out there and play well and do that, but to add a lot off the field as well and, you know, help out these, you know, the local guys, the Japanese guys and make them better players.
And it's great because you've experienced so much in an extraordinary career. You're one of only 20 players to win multiple World Cups, of course 2 World Cups with the All Blacks. Do you feel like one of the greats when you hear this stuff read about you?
I don't know. Not really. I don't really feel like one of the greats. I think, you know, it is pretty cool to know that you're in that esteemed company 100%, and you realise the position you've been in and fairly privileged to do that. And so, it is humbling to know you're in that company. I know you worked hard for it. I guess now you realise, you know, how much you had to put in to get to where you got.
Yeah. When an All Black leaves the team, do you go back, do you keep in touch with your friends, I suppose, but how's your time been in the years?
It's been good. So I've basically, turned into a fan and watching the games on TV.
Yeah. Has that been good?
It's been good. It's been good, I've enjoyed it.
Or are you a terrible spectator?
Oh, when the game's not going well, it's tough. But no, actually, honestly, pretty content watching, hoping they do well, you know, because they're all my mates. I know all the guys, so... you're in touch with a few of them, you know, through the week and, you know, making sure they're all good. And, you know, but other than that, you just kind of let them be. Yeah. I think it's the way,
Everyone's got to read. You've got to... you can't have the old mob looking over your shoulder, making sure you do things a certain way.
No, 100%. So that's a great thing about the All Blacks as a club, you know? Yeah. You play 1 test or over 100 tests, you're part of the club and... it's a special thing.
When I'm in Avondale and I feel like some of the best coffee in Auckland and I want to support a Pasifika business person who only opened 2 weeks ago, I come to Bree's Old Mate's Coffee Cart on... What road is this?
Great North Road.
On Great North Road. Bree, this is so good.
Thank you.
In terms of your last game, what a cracker, Counties against Taranaki at a club ground at Inglewood. Talk about that one.
Yeah, pretty special, I was 0-4 leading into that game, man. So I was like, boys, we've got to win this one, And we're pretty keyed up. So we haven't.
Because they all would have been like, we're getting Kieran.
Yeah, I know, we're going to win something now. But the boys are pretty keen to get a win. Yeah. You know, for me, for everyone, for the whole team. Yeah. And we've got a good culture there, man. It's such a good vibe up in Counties. I think they're going to be successful in the years ahead with the group they've got.
After 12 years in further south, were you able to slide back into the culture? Like, how did that feel, going back in and going back to your boyhood club that you hadn't played for since age grade? How was that for you?
It was a bit different, but it was cool. So I walked into a camp after my first day. So the boys were at camp. I came in at about 9 o'clock at night from a flight and walked into one of their rooms and, you know, there's a dozen of them sitting around playing cards. Yeah. And basically walked in and we all kind of said g'day, blah, blah, blah. And then about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, pretty quiet. And then I got the piss taken out of me.
Straight away, that didn't take long.
No, it didn't take long. And then you're just straight into one of the boys again, you know? And that's kind of, for me, it was like, cool, I mustn't be exuding too much of a, look at me, I'm this ex-All Black captain type thing, you know? That's what I wanted to do. That's why you go in there and you try and connect and you make sure you connect with kind of everyone. And actually, pretty special group, the Counties boys, because they have gone through so many different things in their life that probably a lot of other rugby players in New Zealand haven't. Yeah. And the backgrounds they've come from. Yeah. So that binds us as a group, which is pretty special.
And one of the coolest things about you was that you went to Rosehill, you got the scholarship to St Kitts, but then it was more important for you to play with your mates and go back to your old school.
That probably is just who I am, you know, I think, and certainly probably where I grew up, that's the region you're part of. Like Counties Manukau was a region, and South Auckland's a region where you want to connect with your mates, you know, and that's kind of how I felt about things. And so, it was kind of a no-brainer, really, and it wasn't about the footy then, it was about school and your mates.
Yeah.
I reckon, yeah.
Yeah. Every All Black captain has had a different style. One of the things that came out about your style was how approachable you were. What do you put that down to? Was that a deliberate thing on your part?
I don't think it was deliberate. I think it's just me, really. I think that's kind of how I was brought up, like as you know, like brought up in South Auckland and Papakura, and the nature of that region is you are friends and mates with lots of different cultures, and being able to adapt and to all those relationships, I think, was part of my makeup. And I think when you do become a leader, you know, all your strengths, you've got to use them, you know. So that's certainly one of my strengths, I guess, is being able to, bring everyone together no matter where they're from. So it was something that I guess naturally happened, but I made sure I definitely utilised it as well.
There was a great series recently with Match Fit, some All Black legends trying to get match fit for one last hurrah, but it wasn't about, it was a reality show, but it wasn't really about that. What emerged was these heroes to the whole country being really vulnerable about what they've been through, being really open and honest. What did you think of that?
I thought it was amazing, as you said, the vulnerability to get in that position. You know, physically you can go one way, but I think the mental struggles that we saw and probably heard in that program is probably more important. You have such highs, I guess, when you're in a career where, in sport, especially a professional sport, where it is your job as well, that to come out of that, it's quite daunting, you know, like you're earning most you're going to earn in the first 10 years of your career. You've got another 30, 40 years to work, and what am I going to do, you know? It's like, so it's very daunting for a lot of people, and I think trying to figure out the best way to do that. And as I said, I think the connection you get from sport is the thing you probably miss the most, eh? So
it's hard too, because when you're on TV and you're representing people, and privately you might be struggling, but if you're in public, you know, like sometimes if I'm at the ATM and I'm like, if it doesn't decline, you know, in front of people, it's like really embarrassing. But so there's that element too. There's that need to maintain a facade, not that you act like a flash guy, but to maybe not be so vulnerable in terms of your own personal struggles.
I think that, it's definitely been the way, I guess, as Kiwis, you know, look at our heroes or our guys that we look up to, and especially our rugby players. They've been looked at as these kind of guys who have no, you know, there's no walls getting broken. They're bulletproof, aren't they? Yeah. Which is not true. And then suddenly everyone who's watching that thinks they need to be the same. And that's where, you know, a program like we just saw, and probably what a lot of the guys are talking about now in terms of your mental health and being able to open up is the biggest thing, eh?
It's just the language for life, really, isn't it? Life's the more important thing, and it's just how you engage with it. I've just got a few questions for you, because I just want to get your opinion. Pasifika rugby team, Moana Pasifika, I think, is and maybe one based in Fiji has been announced for 2022. What do you think of that?
I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's exciting, eh? Like, I know the boys in counties all this year were just talking about it, you know, like an opportunity for them that potentially might not have come about. It's great because the talent is all there. It's how to harness that into being able to showcase it to the world, and I think it's a no-brainer for New Zealand rugby through Super Rugby to make it work, eh? You
know, with COVID, you know, we had the World Rugby Chairman election last year. There seems to be a lot going. There seems to be a lot of opportunities. What would you like to see in the game, in the world game, moving forward?
I don't know. Like, I think the biggest thing is creating opportunities for test matches to be meaningful, I guess, you know, like where all players are available. So that's for the Pacific Island nations to, you know, that's for Fiji to have its full team.
Because they only get their top team every 4 years at the World Cup and a global season, right?
I think that would be great. Whether that's going to work, it'd be hard, but I'm sure you could work out a way to play first half of the year club footy and then back half international at some stage. Who knows, mate? You know, I'll just watch like you and
You're an absolute gentleman, Kieran. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, Oscar.
Cheers, brother.
Thanks, mate.